Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we will be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 35. Yagnatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani aseshani drakshyasi atmani atho mayi. So Krishna said in the previous verse, we have to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master and learn this process of transcendental knowledge. And yagnatva, having understood that, na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava, you will never be put into illusion. Na punarmoham yasyasi, yagnatva, O Pandava, O Arjuna. And by that knowledge, yena bhutani aseshani drakshyasi atmani. Asesha bhutani, all these living entities, you will see drakshyasi, are part of me. Atho mayi, they are in me, in the Supreme Soul, Atmani. So Prabhupada nicely translates, and when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and they are in me and are mine. So this is the universal brotherhood. This is how one can unite everyone. There can be unity only when one sees everybody, including the animals. Everything, every living entity that we see in this material existence should be viewed, or the person who becomes equipped with the knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, he comes to the stage where he can see everyone as part of Krishna. Therefore, he tries to bring them back to Krishna consciousness. So, na punarmoham, yagnatva na punarmoham. You will never again be put into illusion. That's the power of learning from a bona fide spiritual master. Or in other words, the sign that you truly obtained knowledge is that you will not be put in illusion again. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The sense of a separated existence from Krishna is called Maya. Ma means not, Ya means this, that which is not. Maya means that which is not. It's like, for example, one day I was driving, and in the morning time, I could not see, from it. It was a little bit foggy, and I was coming to the Mangalarti, to the temple. On the freeway, you go at a nice speed, and suddenly there was this animal, a blackish animal, that was crossing the middle of the freeway. It's a big one, huge animal. And I was like shocked, and I was about to hit it. Somehow, just in time, I swerved and turned the car and somehow escaped it. And only to realize that it was not a black big animal, but it was a piece of trash paper, trash bag, black trash bag floating across the street in the air. And it appeared like a black animal. So that which is not, this is called Maya. Of course, just to give an example, we consider this material world made of material things as the real substance for happiness. That is called Maya. Just like a shadow or a reflection in the water. Say a tree is being reflected in the water. You try to go and take that fruit from the water, from the reflection. You may think of enjoying that fruit, but it is not being accessible. How much ever you try, you cannot access it. So the happiness is only thinking that I will enjoy, but actual enjoyment is not there. So Maya means thinking that I will become happy one day. If I get one failure, oh, it's okay. If I don't get happiness from this, it's okay, there is always tomorrow. We go to a bad restaurant, oh, food is not good. Let's try another restaurant. Go to bad movie, oh, it's okay. We'll try another movie. Oh, we lost the cricket match. India lost the cricket match. It's okay, there is always a next series. So, like that, everything there is actually, when you actually try to, just like you try to grab that fruit on the reflection, you will never get it. You will never get the real taste. We continuously fail and we go to the next. Even the so called happiness that we do enjoy, it's like they say a drop of honey. You are trying to catch the drop of honey while hanging on to a branch of a tree, and on the bottom there is a pit full of snakes, and the branch is about to fall down, and from the beehive there is a drop of honey dropping. So this is called Maya. So anything which is a sense of separated existence from Krishna is called Maya. We think we have nothing to do with Krishna. People, they propagate, atheists. Oh, Krishna is only a great historic personality at best. Those are the atheists, Vikarmis. Or Gnanis, they say, oh, the absolute truth is impersonal. But Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita says, the scriptures say that absolute truth, the impersonal effulgence in the bodily effulgence of Krishna. Krishna is the basis of everything. The personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes. Even the living entities are also his expansions. Just like a father expands his family for his pleasure, the children are for his pleasure. So the living entities are for the pleasure and service of Krishna. So the right mentality is to think Drakshyasi Atmani Athomayi. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Prabhupada also mentions how these Mayavadi philosophers, they say everything is impersonal, because if they say it is personal, then how so many things are coming. Say, for example, anything which has a shape, a paper, for example, it has a shape, and you derive multiple pieces of paper from it, you tear it into multiple pieces, and the paper becomes disintegrated, isn't it? So that's a material calculation. 1 minus 1 equals to 0. But in the case of absolute truth, 1 minus 1 is also equal to 1. Isopanishad says the supreme absolute truth is so complete. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasithishthate. The supreme absolute truth is so complete. Om Purnam Adaha Purnam. From him, whatever emanates is also complete. This material existence is also equipped with completeness to give everything that we need in this material world. So Purnat Purnam Udachyate. From Purnam, the Supreme Lord who is complete, the complete things emanate. And even if you take the complete thing from him, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. The Supreme Lord remains complete. So, just like Prabhupada gives a very powerful example, even materially speaking, just like mother and father, they unite and they are producing a body, a baby, having complete form, arms, legs, face, so on and so forth, organs. So the child they produce is complete with all those faculties. And they remain complete. It's not that the mother and father are getting disintegrated. So, like, just to what to speak of the Supreme Lord, who is the supreme origin of everything. So that is why he is complete whole. And we exist as his parts and parcels. And it doesn't mean that he'll become impersonal. So it is an illusion to think we are separate from Krishna. Although we are separated parts of Krishna, we should not think, oh, we are one with Krishna. Now I lose my identity. No. It's just like sometimes they give the argument. When we become liberated, it is like a water of the river. We go and merge into the ocean and we become one with the ocean water. The river ceases to exist. But the actual understanding is we are like the fish in the river. When we go and merge or when we become liberated, go back to Godhead, yes, the river water enters the ocean, but the fish continues to remain the fish, but now it belongs in the ocean. So when a green bird goes and merges into the tree, it doesn't mean it stops its existence. From outside, it looks like it has merged into the tree. You cannot see the bird, but the bird continues to exist individually. So this is the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. It's a really powerful philosophy. We are, in one sense, one, Abheda, with the Lord, because we are energy of the Lord. Just like the sunshine cannot be separated from the sun. That's why we say sunshine, we don't say shine. You cannot separate it. It's part and parcel of sun. So likewise, we are also like that. We are energy of Krishna. We can never be separated from Krishna. Abheda. At the same time, we should not think now we became merged into Krishna, now we lose our existence. No, we retain our existence. Just like the fish retains its individuality, the bird retains its individuality. So even when we go back to Godhead, we are individuals. As Atma, we retain our free will. Krishna loves us as individuals. Exchange. He wants to exchange rasa with us. In the spiritual world, there are innumerable living entities exchanging rasa with Krishna in different ways. Somebody is trying to serve Krishna as a servant. Somebody is playing with Krishna as a friend. Somebody is serving Krishna as parent. Somebody is offering Krishna service as a conjugal lover. There are innumerable services Krishna exchanges with his devotees. So there was this, Prabhupada was giving a lecture and he was mentioning how when we go back to Godhead or when we reinstate our relation with Krishna, that's when we become truly happy and then nothing disturbs us. So there was a yoga student who was attending that lecture. Because the yogis, they are all about controlling their senses. And so this yoga student, he was asking a very pertinent and important question for all spiritualists. he said, how does a devotee of Krishna control sex desire? And so Prabhupada answered it beautifully. He said, the first thing he said is automatically. Krishna is so beautiful. We are accustomed to our habits for a very long time. But if you become sincere and become attracted to Krishna, Krishna will protect you. And then the yoga student admitted, oh, sometimes I do have sex urge. Prabhupada said, oh, what? Only you? Everybody, in birds, beasts, demigods, the binding force is sex. This whole material world is based on sex desire. So, you advance in Krishna consciousness, you become so attracted to Krishna that the other desire will become insignificant. So, one time in Mayapur, they were constructing these buildings. And when you start to construction, all these snakes, they come out. And one snake was attacking Prabhupada. He was in the bathroom and somehow he pushed the door lid, and the snake got stuck between the door and the wedge. And somehow Prabhupada was shouting for his disciples, and they came, and somehow they attacked the snake and somehow were able to kill it. And then Prabhupada said there must be another snake. And they said, how? Because the snakes also have partners. They go male and female, they live together. They come together. So there must be another snake lying here. Catch it or look for it. And somebody said it already went away. So like that, birds, beasts, every living entity, these four things are common. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunam. Maithunam means, Mithuni Bhavam means the sexual pleasure in the living entities, in this material world. That's how this whole material world is called Maidhunya Magara. Maidhunya Magara means the shackles of sex life. And but Krishna is so beautiful that you can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita several examples. Haridas Thakur, he was tested twice. Once by a prostitute. This Jamindar tried to defame Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur was so enchanted by chanting Hare Krishna mantra that instead he transformed her. Similarly, another time, Maya Devi herself comes to test Haridas Thakur. See how Maya Devi is enchanting everyone, so how beautiful can she become? But again, Haridas Thakur, the same thing repeated. Instead, he impressed Maya Devi about the importance of chanting Hare Krishna to the extent that Maya Devi became a disciple of Haridas Thakur and she got initiated into Krishna mantra. So this yoga student, he was asking, oh, then how can I get initiated by you? So then Prabhupada said, the first initiation is to understand the philosophy. So you should first hear carefully for 1 year and then you can be initiated. And then what we are discussing, how this Napunar Moham, once you hear about this, you will never be put into illusion. So this yoga student was asking, how can you tell a Krishna conscious holy man from an ordinary holy man? So Prabhupada said, he is always thinking about Krishna. Not even a moment without thinking about Krishna. So this is the answer. So the so-called gurus who are not Krishna conscious, They are not self-realized. They may have, by dint of their karma, great abilities of gnana, great abilities of speaking. But unless one is always thinking of Krishna, he is not self-realized. It is simple analogy that Prabhupada gives sometimes. One time another person came and asked, what is self-realization? So Prabhupada said, see, when you are in darkness, you cannot realize even yourself. You cannot even see yourself. How do you see yourself? When you see the sun outside, when you go outside, when you see the sun, when you put yourself in the sunlight, then you can see yourself, isn't it? Otherwise, if you are in darkness, you cannot see yourself. You need light. So, when you realize Krishna, when you come to Krishna consciousness, that is true self-realization. That is true self-realization. And then the yoga student asked, does it actually say in scriptures that you will come back to this material world if you don't worship Krishna? And Prabhupada said, yes. He quoted this shloka from Bhagavatam. Aruhya krichirena param padam tataha patanti adho nadruta yushmadangrayaha. By neglecting your lotus feet, this person comes down again, even though by dint of his austerities he might have gone to the impersonal Brahman. So like this yoga student was asking some very important questions. And then hearing that questions, this another devotee asked Prabhupada, then why Krishna in the first place doesn't protect us from that desire, from our material desires? And Prabhupada said, Krishna is protecting. He says, you rascal, you don't desire, you just surrender unto me. But because you are rascal, you do not do this. And then he again asked, why doesn't Krishna save me from thinking like that? And then Prabhupada said, that means you lose your independence. Krishna, the living entity, means independence. If Krishna is forcing everything on you, where is your independence? It is not love. There is no love. Like Prabhupada, to illustrate a point, he was saying a Bengali saying, see, it is force. In Bengali, it is said, if you catch one girl or boy aggressively, Prabhupada was trying to shake. You love me, you love me, you love me. Is it love? You love me, otherwise I'll kill you. So like this, we are all meant actually to love Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. But by Maya alone, Arjuna was thinking that temporary bodily relation with kinsmen was more important than his eternal spiritual relation with Krishna. So out of Maya, everybody thinks, oh, Krishna is not important. My temporary bodily relationships with kinsmen is important. Of course, it doesn't mean we neglect. But importantly, we should execute Krishna's order. Our relation with Krishna is eternal. And everybody of our kinsmen, their relation with Krishna is also eternal. And in that way, we are eternally related. So if we want to continue our eternal relation, the right thing for everyone to do is to put Krishna in the center. Krishnera samsara koro chadi anachar. Our path is not dry renunciation. Our path is not artificial renunciation and restraining. Our path is positivity. Put everything around Krishna. Put Krishna in the center of everything, whether it is family, whether it is business, whether it is renunciation. It is called Yukta Vairagya. You do everything, but offer it to Krishna. Like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised Raghunath Das Goswami. You go back and take care of your family. And then Krishna will eventually, he will inspire you how you can get his shelter. How Priyavrata, he renounced everything. But Swayambhu Manu and Lord Brahma, they all came to convince him to take charge of the universe. And he came and took charge of the universe. So, being part and parcel of Krishna means not neglecting anything, but looking everything as part and parcel of Krishna, how we can engage everything thereby in Krishna's service. Then we can beat Maya. Not that, oh, I will not touch, just like Gnanis, I will not touch this, I will not see this. They consider even singing and dancing, chanting Hare Krishna, singing Hare Krishna also to be Maya. Like Prakashananda Saraswati, he was thinking, oh, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's a sannyasi, meant to read Vedanta and renounce the world, but he is just singing and dancing like a sentimentalist. So they don't know that you can do everything in Krishna consciousness, but you add Krishna to it, it becomes transcendental. That is the secret of how do we beat Maya. So sublime. Even a child can beat. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments?
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yesterday you mentioned about in the question answer spiritual master after Srila Prabhupada. But my understanding is like Srila Prabhupada had multiple disciples, right? And they all, because Srila Prabhupada is not available right now physically present, they are the one giving dikshas and acting as diksha gurus and passing on all the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. Isn't that the instruction of Srila Prabhupada also, to be pure devotees and then, initiate others? So the parampara, disciplic succession continues, right? After him, it doesn't stop at him, isn't it?
See, as I said, to continue Guru Parampara does not mean there has to be a physically present spiritual master. Like, for example, say you get initiated by somebody today. Just consider, right? Today you get initiated by a physically present person. And tomorrow that person dies. So how will you continue your spiritual life? You will accept another physically present. I'm just asking a question. So it's a logical thing to understand, right? Will you accept another spiritual master?
Good question. Not sure.
Right? No, absolutely no. It's not a spiritual master is not a material business where you lose one day and you go and buy something else. It's not a Chakshudan Dilojai Janme Janme Prabhushay. Every day we sing in Guru Puja. The Shastras are saying, our spiritual master is Janme Janme Prabhu. He is my master life after life. Once you accept a spiritual master, your eternal connection is created. So it's not that your relation is broken the moment spiritual master passes away from his body. More importantly, your relation continues with his instructions eternally, isn't it? Just by the simple example we can understand. Your spiritual master passing away doesn't mean that your relation is broken. So what I'm trying to establish is that the notion that if you don't have a physically present spiritual master, you cannot progress, it's not the correct notion. So it's not that Guru Parampara cannot continue or your spiritual knowledge cannot continue to exist when there is no physically present Guru. This is a fundamental understanding we need to understand. Now, having understood that, I gave the example yesterday of how Prabhupada's spiritual master also, Prabhupada himself said, he never appointed anybody to be the next Acharya. And they artificially assumed the role of Acharya and they spoiled his mission. And Prabhupada specifically said, my Guru Maharaj spoke about so many things at the time of passing. He did not talk about appointing. But our Gaudiya Matha made a big mistake selecting artificially some Acharya and it proved to be a big failure. His mood was to collectively preach and make devotees, keep the Acharya in the center. But they drifted from that order. We should not make that same mistake in our camp, he said. So Prabhupada clearly gave the instructions that how initiations should go on. And he did not give any other instruction to the contrary. He did not appoint anybody, even according to the official version of the present authorities they have. They also admit Prabhupada did not appoint anybody as the successor Acharya. In fact, unfortunately, many so-called who have assumed the role of Guru, they have fallen down. And they said, oh, now you take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So why not take shelter of Srila Prabhupada from the beginning? And
so I have a question.
Yeah.
Then Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj also did not appoint Srila Prabhupada, right?
Yeah, so I'll come to that. So Prabhupada said, the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is, he did not appoint anybody at the time of his passing. You collectively preach and eventually a self-effulgent spiritual master would emerge. And that self-effulgent that was his order. And that we know, that self-effulgent spiritual master who has taken Krishna consciousness throughout the world, undeniably, nobody can deny that, is Srila Prabhupada himself. And Prabhupada himself has mentioned, when somebody asked him, when did you become the spiritual master of this movement? And Prabhupada said, when my Guru Maharaj ordered me. Nobody can become a spiritual master without being ordered by the spiritual master, by his spiritual master. And they tried to probe, oh, when did he order? And all. And Prabhupada, he said, you should be curious in your limits. What is your business? Should I tell you when he ordered? It's none of your business. That kind of thing he said. So because Prabhupada is that self-effulgent spiritual master, the empowered Acharya, by dint of his activities, how he spread the holy name, nobody can deny he is not that he is a self-effulgent empowered Acharya. So we have to take his words that he was ordered, how Bhaktisiddhanta set up his institution.
I see. So all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada right now initiating other people and creating further disciples.
That is not, yes, that's not what Prabhupada ordered. Having said that, what I will say is that one can be a Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru means, that's what Prabhupada said, all of you should become instructing spiritual masters. I am the initiating spiritual master. You should all be instructing spiritual master. Instructing means you impart the instructions. Just like I am imparting instruction. Now you go and impart instruction to your family. Exactly as Krishna said, exactly as Prabhupada said. Like that you become Guru. Even a child can become Guru, Prabhupada said many times. So becoming Guru is not prohibited. But taking up the role as initiating spiritual master is specific only to a Mahabhagavata, is specific only to an authorized spiritual master. Prabhupada gives that in the purport, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's called Diksha Vidhana. One should take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master coming in the disciplic succession, who is authorized by the predecessor spiritual master. This is called Diksha Vidhana, Srimad Bhagavatam purport to 4.8.54. You can check it. This is Diksha Vidhana. So the Diksha Guru has to be accepted according to this Diksha Vidhana. You can have Siksha Guru. You give instruction to your devotees, but don't take up the role of initiating. Prabhupada's clear instructions are there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So then
Great.
how do the new people get initiated then? How do people get Diksha then?
Yeah, so Prabhupada gave clear directions before he left, and that was being followed for several months and years before that. That a prospective student or prospective devotee is recommended by the temple president, and they conduct the yagna without requiring the presence of Prabhupada. Even before, when Prabhupada was physically present, many disciples of Prabhupada never even saw him, never even spoke to him. They were initiated without requiring his physical presence. That was how Prabhupada has been setting up the system. Their primary method of acquiring knowledge was through reading his books, hearing his lectures, associating with his senior devotees to clarify doubts, and so on and so forth. And when time permitted, he would respond to his letters. So he has set up the system where prospective devotees would come to the nearest temple, they would practice chanting, associate with devotees, and the temple president, Prabhupada appointed these Ritvik representatives, whoever is based on the zone, and the temple president recommends them to that representative, and they come and perform the yagna, and they give the name, they chant on the beads. Everything is done independent of Prabhupada's physical presence. That was the system Prabhupada set up, and that was confirmed in a particular directive he gave on July 9th, 1977, where he specifically had it in writing saying, you follow this system henceforward, and the disciples who become initiated like this will be the disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Clear instructions, there is no other contrary instructions anywhere else. And as long as we follow that, we are secure.
So the temple priest will be like hereditary. The priest and priest's son will be there like that.
Yeah, the priest is like a qualified person who knows the proper ritual and the proper procedures. One of the senior disciples who
Now,
had.
if something happens to that priest, then who will be the next? Is it his son or? Like
No, that priest is appointed by the GBC based on the spiritual practices. So if a priest falls down or dies, another priest is appointed. The priest is only via media, a representative conducting the sacrifice on behalf of Prabhupada. So the priest goes away, another priest comes. So that via media can be changed. If something happens, somebody else replaces that. But Prabhupada, nobody can replace. Our relation is established with Prabhupada, not with that priest. Hare Krishna, thank you for your questions. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.